Hello, this is Pramod Bhasin, Chairman of Clix Capital and the founder of Genpact.
And hello, this is Kartik Malhotra. Mr. Bhasin, always a pleasure to interact with you. You're always so full of life. And it's great that you're able to join us during this lockdown from your home. You're all working from home. We recently discovered that there's a CEO consortium which has just opened a 150-bed hospital in Gurugram specifically for COVID-19 patients. Tell us a little bit about it, sir. What was your involvement, your role? You're part of that consortium. And how do you plan to run smooth operations of that 150-bed hospital?
I think it's a fantastic collective effort that has come together. Really inspired, I think, a lot by Dr. Naresh Trehan, who's a very close friend. There's a need for COVID-only hospitals. So we all came together very quickly. It's only been 3 to 4 weeks, by the way, and the hospital was inaugurated. So in that time, all the doctors have come together, the staff, where are they going to stay? How are they going to get to work every day? It's a remarkable effort. We're also funding it. So certainly we will be involved in helping raise funds for this as we move forward, because the idea is that we will treat the poor people for free, deny no one access to care as long as they are a COVID patient, based on what the Chief Medical Officer in Haryana, on their direction, they will be directing patients to us. So
that's wonderful, and I think it ties in well with your overall philosophy, because you're also the founder of Asha Impact. So social good, general well-being of the population ties in fairly well with your philosophy, wouldn't you say that, Mr. Bhasin?
Best thing we can do with it, with what God has blessed us with what our country has blessed us with, is spend it for those who need it so much more. Running a business provides employment. This kind of effort actually reaches out to help the people who need it the most. And that, unfortunately, sometimes doesn't seem to happen fast enough in our country. So it's a privilege, to be honest.
Great. Mr. Bhasin, you're regarded as one of the fathers of the BPO industry, and you pretty much got the entire country charged up with the BPO boom back in the late 90s, early 2000s. At a time when there wasn't enough trust on our telecom capabilities and our IT services capabilities. Do you think there's time now for India to have a similar fervor when it comes to manufacturing, exploiting perhaps the trust deficit that the world has with China at the moment?
If I go back to those days when we first started up what was GE Capital International Services and now called Genpact, of course, you're right, we had no telecom. I remember calling up my bosses in the US, I was part of GE at that time, and trying to convince them that we could do their back office. And I would call him and say, Gary, I can do all your back office processing from India on phone lines, and my phone line would keep dropping as I talked to him. So he always thought this was remarkable audacity from someone who didn't even have a proper phone line to suggest we could do this. China will give up a lot of its manufacturing. We missed out, by the way, from all the garment and fabric manufacturing that came away from China. We simply cannot afford to miss this, particularly, I would say, even the services businesses where we continue to shine. This is something we must capture. I'm working currently with the Punjab government, with a committee formed by the Punjab government under chairmanship of Montega Lavalia, to find ways of reviving growth, for instance, in Punjab. I wish we could do this across every state. But it will need a change of mindset and significant policy changes to allow us to capture that opportunity, because companies are making that decision now. They're not going to wait for us. So if we don't make these changes in the next 6 months to a year, the opportunity will pass us by.
So SMEs are a strong backbone, the foundation of manufacturing in India. And right now they are cash strapped. They don't see a foreseeable cash runway, which gives them the flexibility to be able to deliver to this changing workplace. So what should their strategy be, not just at the financing level, but even operationally? What should their strategy be right now to seize this opportunity from China?
I think, one, you do need financial services help here, particularly from the RBI as well as from the central government. For the SMEs, I think they've really got to look at what is their core competence. So and you can go state by state. Different states have different competence. If you're an exporter, you need to be close to a zone where you can move out quickly. If your supply chains work, you need to think about where your supply chains come from itself and what sort of manufacturing you can do. And for sure, the world is actually going to move away from China and reduce its dependence on them. So I think there's a premium on building those industries which you can transport fast. You can't do heavy manufacturing and engineering. You could over time, but you won't in the short term. And you need to be in a place where you can get your supply chain in place very quickly and start manufacturing and exporting very quickly, because the moment is now. We're really going to have to move fast to capture it.
So, Mr. Bhasin, you're also an angel investor. What are the kind of startups that are exciting you right now in the environment that we are in? So, post-COVID, what are the kind of startups that you would want to put your money in?
Yeah, look, there are a lot of startups which will, I think, do very well. Services continues to excite me at every level, because they are scalable, because you can build it on the back of a tech platform which allows you to do many things. The analytics area, the entire analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning area. Again, I would tell the states, when we think about China and moving away, that's an area we should focus on for the rest of the world. So there's a lot of areas. What will do well? I think we all know the online, anything online, I think will do well at this point. Pharmaceutical, healthcare, the room for innovation will stretch out enormously now.
And coming back to your core at Clix Capital, do you think consumer financing, business financing we've spoken about, but do you think consumer financing is likely to gain any momentum in coming times? Are people likely to undertake any high value purchases, whether it is travel, education abroad, housing, a car, a motorcycle? Do you see it picking up anytime soon?
I think so much depends on the lockdown and its status. So clearly over the next 2, 3, 4 months, it's going to be slow. It's going to be difficult. I don't think consumer demand will come back that quickly. People will want to save. People will want to spend more on healthcare, on being together with the family, on facilities for the family, etc. In time, though, absolutely, demand will come back. So yes, there will be a recalibration in terms of how people want to spend their time and do their thing. But frankly, I think demand will pick up. Will it take 3 to 6 months? Probably. But that's okay. We will have enough demand over time. India remains vastly underrepresented in financial services. The need for financial services inclusion remains huge by any global yardstick. I think for the next 15 years, financial services will be a great business in India, particularly directed at the consumer and the SMEs. One thing I just wanted to say was, it is remarkable that a country of 1.3 billion has gone into lockdown and obeyed the lockdown more or less. We always thought Indians are very indisciplined, very chaotic, which we are. And yet, somehow, people are either too scared or have understood the magnitude of the problem. So it's quite defining for our country. I just hope we come out of this with a zeal and an ambition at all levels to correct so much of what has held this country back. That's the one hope I leave everyone with.
A wonderful hope to leave everyone with, Mr. Bhasin. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us on this podcast.
Thank you so much, Kartik. Thank you very much.